Hey folks, so it's been a while since I started a new series. I figured I'd give Cities Skylines a check out. I played enough to keep myself from making obvious newbie idiot mistakes, but other than that, I'm kinda new to the game. So this should get interesting after I get the base set up. So we'll start up a new game. I've been screwing around on Cliffside Bay a lot. Let's try somewhere completely different. Let's go to Boggy Hills, city name of Vermont. No, let's call this WK's Mess? Nah. That'll work. WK's Beautiful Land of Disaster. Looks like we've got some decent natural resources, some ore, suitable area for building 74%. That's cool. We've got some water. All right. And off we go. I have. Okay, gotta restart. I screwed this up. I spent too much money and didn't take care of my infrastructure. Alright, so we are going to quit. Go to the main menu and try this again. Go. Hopefully they'll fill in up here. Yeah, I have no demand for residential because of power. Okay, screw this up again. Restart 3. So for those not familiar, Cities Skylines is basically a SimCity wannabe. And I kind of checked it out after SimCity 2015 just kind of detonated itself. So what happens is as things open up, as you get to certain population levels, you build certain things. First thing we need to do is build a road. Alright, let's take a look at things. So this will be the area we build in. We've got highways rolling around us in both directions. We've got a river system going from the northwest to the southeast here. We've got a lake up here. We've got open ocean out there. So we'll want to put our water pickups up this way and water drainage down that way so that the pollution flows away from the city, so we don't get our people sick. Yeah, I know, I got to pause. If we zone back in a bit. Over here we've got some forest, it looks like. Down here we've got fertile land. I think a little farming community. Sounds like fun. Yes, I know. Build a road. So, starting off, the only road we can build is the 2-lane road. We won't even see highways for ages. That's a population of 2,400. That takes a while to get to. So we need to place a road somewhere. Let's see. Well, we're going to want that for some forest. Eventually we'll specialize that into farmland, but we'll put our industrial sector over there. Let's see. Let's start off with, yeah, I get it. You want me to build a road. Alright, so let's see. If I'm going to build there, build here. Alright, we're just going to put in a short little road for the moment, and we'll come back to you for that. Now, once we've built a little bit of road, we open up some more stuff, like gravel, 2-lane gravel roads. That can be useful for, like, sticking fire departments and stuff to stop a road, but we'll get back to that. 4-lane and 6-lane roads, which end up, it's about 20 bucks extra per cell to build that stuff up. Highways aren't open. And you'll notice some of these guys have one-way roads. The 4-lane road does not. So what I want to do is I want to start off with a 2-way 6-lane road coming in off the main highway. Over here we've got rail. Eventually we'll connect up to that, but highway is going to be our primary access for a long time. So, let's see. We'll aim you about... come on, can I get this straight? Ish. There we go. So we'll put in our 6-lane here, I guess. I'll run you this way. See if I can keep it somewhat straight. Okay, that's going to be our main feed. What I want to do is I want to do some one-way roads coming in from the main highway. There we go. So it's coming in on a 3-lane highway. It'll go down to 2 lanes in both directions, and then we'll get into our main artery for our little town out here. Okay, next up, we're going to want to put in some water. You want to get your water and your electric set up before you run into financial problems, so just get her done. I'm kind of putting these way out in the middle of nowhere. And we will run plumbing here eventually. Now, power lines are 20 bucks a cell. Wind turbines are $6 grand a piece. You can go up to a coal power plant for 20 grand, usually not worth it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some wind turbines. Now, wind turbines can produce from 0 to 8 megawatts, whereas the reason you might want the coal is it's a straight 40. I would say you'll average about 5 to 6 on the wind turbines as long as you build up here in the dark areas. Usually it's better off. Now, I could build over here on the other side and just run some power lines. However, this can be very good for housing because waterfront is usually very popular. So I'm going to stick these up here. I'm going to leave them kind of close. Okay. So that's 3 of those. Now we need to run power to there. So we'll run that there and there. And we'll need to run power down to the other one. So my drainage is down here, which is downstream. If I unpause for a second, you'll notice stream is going that way. So the pollution will be downstream from everything else. All right, now I want to create a, that's going to be my artery. I want a collector road. Let's go knock that out. My collector road, I'm going to make it a 4-lane. I'm going to want that area for forest. I want a little extra room on both sides, so I'll set up here. Okay. Get more options. I got it. Curved roads and stuff. Well, I'll play with those later. So I want to go 4 out, 2. So down here, this grid is where you can actually zone things. Residential, commercial, and industrial. And then there's upgrades to it. High density commercial and residential. And there's also office zones, which are basically industry but cleaner. You need university people to work there usually, and you need to get a very large population. So we're going to take this, we're going to go 2, 4, 6, and stick that there, and come down this way. And we'll do it twice. And we'll feed some up here as well. Just not to, so we're not wasting the intersection. Now I've got to run water still throughout all of this, so I gotta not get too greedy. So we're gonna run, oh, right, reach a milestone. Basically, when you level up, like Little Hamlet, when I'm at a population of 440, I'll open up more items. We'll come back to that. Right now, though, I want to set this to, instead of fill, I want marquee, which is kind of your typical way back in SimCity you would do things. Now, I like to leave commercial down near the main road, and I like to put housing up here. So we're going to do that. And that. That should give me some housing. We'll put zone some commercial in through here. I'll end up putting the industry access over on the other side. So we'll let that go. Now I need to get water ran. So this is piping. Now I got to run my inbound pipe over to somewhere useful. We'll run you to here. And you down to here. And might as well run this over here. Okay, and now I've got to connect it up to the drain pipe as well. There we go. Okay, we now have water flow. The water will come in here, feed all of this area for the moment, and all sewage will leave that way. Now, power should be all right. Power should end up feeding into my zones here from up here. I believe we should be okay. Once we get a couple of people coming in to visit and start picking up houses, this will make more sense. Meanwhile, we're going to go to the budget screen and we're going to have how much we're pumping into water for the moment because we just don't have that many people using our water supply. So water, sewage, and heating work more efficiently with more funding. Same with power. We don't need to dump a lot into these right now. So I'm just going to turn those down to 50%. We can take a look at how much power we're using. For example, right now we're at 6 megawatts of production. And we're using 0 because these things are still building down here. Water, we have 30,000 cubic meters going through per week at the moment. That will go up tremendously once we get there. Now, for power, you'll notice this area has a blue area around it. As long as I have a power line that touches the blue, and it looks like they're just outside, so I'm going to put up a small power line here. And that will get this entire grid powered up. Yep, elevated roads, I'll get back to that. Eventually we'll need those. So as the zoning fills in, the power grid will also expand down. Water, however, you need to run. Now we're going to need to start getting these guys some jobs. I'm running a little low on cash, but not horrible. So we're going to build in our feeder road up towards this, because this is the area where I'm going to want my industry, because I'm going to want it specialized. So we're going to build it out this way-ish. Okay. What's happening here is I'm running into that, what do you call it? Power line. It's just where the road wants to be, and we're running into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulldoze it. Let's see. Yeah, that should be plenty of road. So I'm going to power here. I'm going to bulldoze that. And with power lines, I'm going to do this until I get a... There we go. Just inside, and that will cross the road properly. There we go. So now I've got power running everywhere. Not operating yet. We don't have sewage actually coming out of the locations. Now down here, you'll notice I have residential, commercial, and industry indicators. So green, blue, and orange. These are your indicators for what is in demand and where. Up here are all the different icons you can use. Natural resources isn't an available option yet. That won't open up, I think, until I have districts. So we're going to give these guys some work. Which looks like about the edge. So 2, 4, 6. That should be up to there. We'll run one up this way so I can expand. Now, industry takes up a ton of water, so we're going to need to run some over there. Build up the north side first. And there we go. Okay. We'll zone this as well. I'll just run the water down to make my life easier. And that should cover. And that'll get some people some jobs. Let's see, I don't... population. I think that's in here. There we go. So down here, you've got how many workers out of how many are available. 63 to 64. How much I've zoned that's being used. The average level of the buildings, as they get up in level, they hold more and they're worth more. How many households? I got 59 out of 60 going. Population is 186. How many kids? How many adults? How many teens? Children, teens, and young adults basically are more schooling. Seniors you got to watch for people dying off. Out of curiosity, why are we not using this housing? Because there's no demand while industry builds up. That would do it. Alright, so my budget's gone positive. I'm going to bring electric back up to 100% because electric's usually where I get jammed. Water is going to be fine for ages. There we go. So we're now producing 23 megawatts at full power with proper funding to the power. We're only using 3. Eventually that'll catch up and I'll have to build more of these. But you can kind of see how the blue works down here. I'm going to need another power line connecting into the grid over here. I'm going to zone a bit more industrial through here to fill the power grid. There we go, residential's in demand again. Doesn't look like there's much demand for commercial yet. Okay. And now we just kind of wait for people to come in. As you notice, we've got traffic coming in off the highway, heading to where they need to be. A lot of these people are just moving in. For example, if you click on a car, that's a sports car heading to the Glade residence. He works at Big Bite Restaurant. So that's early game setup, basically. There's not a lot going on. You're just going to build up your town, and we're going to expand a bit. I'm going to try and keep commercial basically easily available to all of the residential I've got going. I'm going to try and put industry over here. That hopefully will make bus routing easier. That's a mass transit option you get later in the game. Right now, most of my demand meters are really low. That's okay. If you click on a house, for example, you can see I've got 0 to 2 households. People are moving in. If I come up here and look at a business, I can see they've got 8 out of the 8 workers they want right now. If they want to level up, there's no level up information available. So it's just not available yet. Low density commercial. And we're just going to build up. As you can see, the game has a day and night cycle, which I guess is kind of neat. I don't know if it has any actual effect on gameplay, but it just kind of looks cool. Now, if we take a look at water, down here, you'll notice our sewage train is just dumping into the water. Our drain pipe. Do we have pollution yet? Nope. I'll show you what that looks like here eventually. So in the meanwhile, we're going to let our town build. Bring you back in a minute. Woohoo! Yay! Okay. So we've hit the first, what do you call it? Upgrade point. We've hit Little Hamlet. That means that I can play with taxes and loans. You probably want to avoid loans until you're used to it, and you're used to where you want to build out and how. You're better off trying to make sure that you're profitable from the beginning. I'm also going to need to bring in garbage services, healthcare services, and I can start bringing in education. I'll show you those here shortly. But what happens is I've opened up a garbage site, which is landfill. It'll send out garbage trucks to go pick up garbage from all the residentials. The elementary school, this will educate young children. It will allow buildings to level up. And the medical clinic can handle a certain amount of people. They'll send out ambulances to go pick people up. So, our town is up to 442 people. Not much has changed. If we want to take a look at zoning here, we've started to fill in some of this zoning. This is all filled up now. I've got some commercial still open and plenty of industrial. I do not need to build more zoning. What I do need to do, though, is get a landfill truck going out. We're going to put him down over here. Now, notice that big purple zone. That's going to be the pollution level. You see, it says pollution 100. So it's going to up the heck out of pollution anywhere in that area. Now that I can see pollution, if we go to here, you'll notice here's pollution here. The industries are causing it. We come down here. Oh, we really haven't started filling the stream up yet. That'll be more obvious later. So what we're going to want to do is when we place this landfill, we don't want it to be anywhere near that. I'm going to try and put it over here. That'll work. Now, medical, on the other hand, that's a different story. You'll notice how the roads turn green. If I put it way up here, down in the bottom left, you notice how the road is basically the same color as the pavement was previously? That's because it doesn't reach. Now, this, however, will be an excellent place to put that in, but I don't want to run over my commercial district, so I'm going to put it down here. This will fill in nicely. So that gets our medical dealt with. And then for education, our elementary school costs us 10 grand, can handle up to 300 children. Take a look at the bottom right. Uses up water, and needs electricity. This I usually actually end up sticking in the middle of the residential zone because it seems to work out better. So I'm going to put this, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 6. Put that there. Now I'm going to have to run water over there, but I want to put in the road first. And now let's get some water over on that side. So if I run a pipe from here, 2, 4, 6, so about here. And I run it. Oh, I'm out of money. So remember what I said about money? It's important. But this will make all of my population much happier. If I take a look at my population thing here, these houses basically just got moved into, so they don't really count. Come up here. Educate more citizens to allow the building to be upgraded. There you go. Alright, so if I shut off zoning and I... Whoop, not what I meant to do. Here, clear that. Shut off zoning, thank you. And I take a look at the elementary school. It tells me there's 161 out of 300 students being educated here. And I have 168 total in the city, so it's slowly but surely getting everybody here. That works out. I'm getting a higher demand for residential again. It looks like I've used up most of my residential zoning. So I'm going to place some more residential here. And some more behind the school here. Looks like I need a little more commercial as well, but that's easily dealt with. You don't need too much commercial opening up at the beginning. Eventually you're making a commercial district, but you don't need that out of the gate. Now, if you ever want to see what you need for the next upgrade or level, you come over here to the milestones on your big city. And you click here, from Little Hamlet to Worthy Village. I'll need 900 people. And then I open up all this stuff, and you can kind of zoom through everything to see when you can open stuff up completely. But we'll come back to that. So we're done with Little Hamlet. Worthy Village is our next one. That opens up a whole lot of toys for us. In the meanwhile, we've got a little demand for housing, a little demand for commercial. Okay, that's fine. We can put some commercial in over here too if we wanted. That's probably not a horrible plan. We're not going to use, let's see, probably up to there, just in case I want to build a commercial district over here. Keep in mind this intersection is lights, and it's going to jam traffic up. This game is half traffic logistics game. And it's half of its purpose. I've got some cash again, so I'm going to finish running my water down this way. There we go, we got our water set up. And I'll just keep building out this residential area over here for a bit. Looks like we got a little demand for industry. All right, so we're back to waiting. Now we just kind of got to let it build up a bit. So let's take a look at a few things while we're chilling out. Up here, we can see what our noise pollution looks like. Industry causes a lot of noise pollution. Our windmills are also causing a bunch. There's a little bit down here from the commercial district, but it does save us a lot on travel. Both our water and our drainage produce a little bit. Not too horrible. We take a look at pollution. That's just starting to form up a little bit down here. That gets really nasty eventually. I know in Stillwater it gets absolutely disgusting, but we'll come back to that. We take a look at traffic. Green roads are completely unused. As you can tell, we've got a little bit of usage down here. Our intersections, this one area, not surprisingly, is probably our busiest area. There's also a good amount going on down here, but nothing particularly concerning. If we come in here, we take a look at electric. We'll see who's got electric and what's going on. We can take a quick look at electric consumption versus production. Same with water. Water's good. We're using up about 23K a week. We've got 30K right now with our funding levels, so we're fine there. And if we scroll out, you know, it kind of brightens up what you're looking for. Like you can see this has a halo sticking up. Take a look at garbage. Garbage should be fine. As we zoom in, I don't know if there's any garbage trucks out. There's one. So here's a garbage truck. He's just kind of cruising around picking up garbage. If we click on him, he's fully loaded. He's going to be heading back here. And if we take a look at our landfill, it's 1% full. Landfills do fill up. Eventually you need to get the incinerator going. Education. This is our education. Now remember, you can only educate children, so the fact that there are 6 adults uneducated, well, there's just 6 adults uneducated. That's what it is. But this can help you find what you're looking for. Right now I'm up to 225 students, that's fine. High school and university, we've got nothing because we haven't upgraded there. Healthcare, this is looking all right. What's going on here? Whoops! Hey, there we go. We're going to become a Worthy Village. So Worthy Village opens up a bunch of things. One of which is we can buy a new 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer area. I'll show you that in a second, because that confused the heck out of me when I first started. New features, we open up a bunch of different things. We can take a second loan. Not a big deal. We can map districts. This is what we're going to use to specialize our farmland, or our fertile area, as farming industry. We have policies here. Policies are things that you can use to affect your entire city. I'll show you what those look like here in a bit. District specializations and services policies, we'll get to those. Fire department, police department, and unique buildings are going to be opening up. Fire and police, I assume you know what those are. Unique buildings are special attractions that you have to do special things to be able to open up. Sell a certain amount of goods out of your commercial district. Have so much square footage of industrial district. Some other strange things, like you have to have 80% of your city sick for one of the items. Our industry specializations will be able to do agriculture and forestry. For example, agriculture specialization. Sun-soaked plains and fertile lands are ideal for agriculture and grazing. Considerably increased water consumption, slightly increased tax income. Required natural resource, fertile land, it's renewable. Not all resources are renewable. A couple of new policies came up. We'll show you those in a second. We've opened up firehouse and police station. So let's take a look at these. So we can now annex adjacent areas. Let's start with that. So let's pause the game. Now come down here and click this, and you'll see an overview map. Kind of handy. Now, we really don't need more land right now. It's just kind of a, why would we even want it? So it's more of a decision of where do we want to end up? Where do we want to build out towards? I'm thinking we build out towards this, and this will give us access to the rail lines that leave this area. The other option would be to build down towards here, towards the end of the river, and we could, or down here, and maybe set up some docks eventually. Thinking I want to take over this area. The price is 5,100, not too horrible. Suitable area for building. It doesn't have any ship connections, but that's okay. We can work that out. Or if we take over this, this also doesn't have ship connections. That doesn't have rail or shipping. So I'm thinking we grab this one for the rail connection. This also doesn't have ship connections. I guess we'd have to get out here towards the open water. We may not get ship connections on this game. That's okay. This does have oil in it. None of the ones available seem to have any ore. Let's see, if we go to the natural resources map, there's oil down here or out here. Fertile land. Yeah, I think we buy this one. We get ourselves able to hook up to that rail if we choose to. It gives us a nice bridge across the river. Hopefully it'll look cool. But we really don't need it yet. We're not even close to this idea. So next up, if we take a look at the policies, these are citywide policies we can set. Right now we have a power usage policy, which we can use to have people conserve energy, but it costs us a little money. I usually find this one to be valuable. You can help with water usage. If you start getting tight on your water usage, this one will work. Smoke detector distribution, you'll significantly reduce risk of fires, and it feels like a pretty heavy drain when it's going. Don't just flip these on randomly, turn them on one at a time, make sure you can handle the policy cost. As you can see, there's more policies we'll be getting eventually. Also, yes, I got the drift. We can set policies. Thank you. I don't want to. Now down here, we're going to set up a district. So, this button's districts. This is paint your district. This is erase your district. We're going to grab ourselves an eye. Oh, no, maybe not that big. So if I want to get an eyeball, so my fertile land is right up through here. Problem is when you switch back, you can't see it anymore. Well, oh well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint myself a district. Kind of like so. Extend it down here a bit. There we go. And it's called Dean Heights. Now I can change. Ooh. That. Goodbye, Valley Heights. There we go. Alright, now if I want to specialize a district, I come in here to the other tab. I choose farming industry. And I tell it to specialize. Now if I go to policies, see I have city policies here, but if I click on Dean Heights, I now have district policies for Dean Heights. And I can see what's going on here, and I can change what policies are in effect by district. You can also mess with taxes and a bunch of other things. So, we're not going to do anything with this other than specialize it to farm. Now, anything actually on fertile land will turn into a farming industry. Anything not on fertile land but in this district will become a farm support industry. So it'll take the raw goods produced here and produce other items. And that's what some of this space down here is going to be for eventually. So, alright, we've got our district created. We're running a little low on cash. Fire first. Oh, nope, that's medical. Fire, there we go. Firehouse is going to cost me 12 grand to put up, 560 bucks a week. Not cheap. As you can see, kind of like anything else, you can see how far it can get out to. We're going to centralize our firehouse right here. And we're going to do this police. I can't afford yet. So we're going to have a little crime until I get some money. Don't believe I opened up high schools yet. I did not. Right? The other option, by the way, which I didn't mention earlier, for water, if you don't have any place you can put a water pumping station in, you can build water towers. And they'll act like water pumping stations, they're just more expensive. You still need a place where you can dump sewage somewhere. You always note the drain pipe always requires a water pumping station to work properly. Gotta figure something out. I really haven't played with the water towers yet. I'll get back to you on those if I ever do. So that pretty much will cover that. We eventually need to put in our police station. So I'm waiting on that. So let's close that up. Let's see here. Let's put in a road for a commercial district. Here, this way if I want commercial, I can put that in there. And I'm not quite sure how I want to set up into this zone. I may build small feeder roads from here going in there. And I might as well build this way. Hey, a building leveled up. So, if we come over here and we take a look at our industries. Now that's ready to wear, garments limited. They're switching over. Ah, here's an animal farm. So things are switching over eventually. Because this area is not used, I don't have electric going to this portion of the grid. Wonderful. All right, let's grab a PCU and attach there. And let's knock that part out. So we just kind of got to wait for industry to build back in through this area, and hopefully these guys will power up. Let's see, what's our demands? Our demands are pretty even across the boards. None of the fire engines are currently in use. We're at 6 grand. We need 12 for the police station. So we're just going to hang out and wait, and I'll bring it back if something interesting happens. Otherwise, I'll bring it back for the police station. So here's something neat. One of my buildings caught fire. It happens. One of the you can look at it. The building is on fire, and your Sims actually come over with their fire trucks to extinguish it. This is important because if you have traffic snarls, these fire trucks can't get here and you're going to end up with bad fires. Traffic snarls are your biggest enemy in this game. While you were gone, I zoned up some extra commercial down this way and I put in another residential street out here. Traffic so far has been being pretty clean. We haven't run into any major traffic snags yet. I come over here to the industrial. We're building out beefcakes and things like that. So, a bakery. Amy's Baking Company. So we're getting our foodstuffs figured out over this way. And we're probably going to need to put in a little more industry here soon. But I've still got enough room for them to fill in, so not really necessary. I probably should put more commercial in right here. Go. And that should help out with general services over by our residential area. Now, one of the things you'll notice is there's lots of people who walk. Every one of these guys kind of map their own direction. They will wait for streetlights. Every intersection slows them down. So there is an eventual point where it doesn't make sense. There is something we can do to help deal with that, that's walking paths. And we may or may not get there in this section of the city. I'm thinking I'll build a second section of the city out here by the highway and rail lines. Out over here. Where I put a bypass out off of this. And I may actually put a connection, a highway connector from here to here, just so this area of the city doesn't get completely disconnected from that. But we'll see how things go. Now, if you'll notice, I've got a face sitting here. Crime rate is high. This is because I still haven't built my police station. If I take a look, I've got a couple of thieves going on here. Crime rate is very high. So I really need to get a police station in play. Now, one police station does a lot of work, but I've got to be able to get the cash up for it. Now, I could, in theory, take out a loan for it, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to raise taxes slightly. I'm going to bring that up to 11. I'm going to bring commercial up to 10. Okay, I've got enough for my police station, so we're going to build him in. Now, he should be able to cover a lot of range. Yep. There we go. Now, he should be shipping out a bunch of police cars. Everybody should be going to a reported crime. 2 cars out. 3, 4. So, yeah, we've needed that police station for a bit. So let's see. Let's follow a police car. So if I click... All right, let's pause it for a second. I'm going to follow him. I can follow him where he's going. And yes, he's very loud. So he pulls in and he actually blocks the street when he does this. Now I'll unfollow. And now their crime has been dealt with. And off the cop goes. So, one police station should do me fine for what I need here. One of the other things I did while you guys were gone was on the budget, I pushed water up a little bit. And that was because I was getting close to my 30K. See, now I'm at 42. I'm going to push water up again, bring it up another 10%. Let's bring it up to 75%. There we go. It's a little finicky. That brings me up to 68,400 gallons a week, or cubic meters a week. So we got plenty of water going again. I've got a little bit of demand for residential and a little bit for industrial. I'm still just kind of trying to build the place out. Now, I believe... Nope, land value is not open yet. Oh, I've made Tiny Town. Tiny Town lets me put in event policies. Okay, I have the DLC for the stadium. That's what event policies are for. Landscaping lets me play with the terrain and do a couple of other things. Parks and plazas are exactly what this sounds like. Put in a dog park, a zen park, or whatever. I've gone up to level 2 unique buildings. We'll take a look at them in a minute. Open up a whole bunch of new policies. Pet ban, smoking ban, Parks and recreation, they'll increase land value around the parks. Subsidized youth. This is for the stadium. Come One Come All is also for the stadium, so is match. Gravel path and pavement path are part of the landscaping menu. These are walking paths for pedestrians. Think of them as an attachment to your mass transit system. Canals. I have not used these yet. Quay, I have. Quay you put along the water side, and it fills in some of that very high profit waterside land. So that can be very helpful. We've opened up the high school and a whole bunch of different parks. We come over here, we can take a look at our unique buildings. Here's an example of one. Amsterdam Palace, it gives you a little detail. Construct 600 city service buildings. Well, I'm nowhere near that. Another example, the theater. Fill up 5 cemeteries, and you can open a theater. So we'll get back to that kind of stuff. I'm going to put this on pause for a second. We come to unique buildings. There's a whole bunch of things like this, like the hypermarket, 5,000 squares of commercial built, a lot of noise. Free parking, lots of upkeep, costs 100,000, but it can handle 450 visitors, so it's a tourism item. This would be the stadium, where you can build a football stadium. At least that's the first one for 200,000. So a little out of my budget for a while. We'll get there. This would be level 1 unique buildings. For example, I can build the Statue of Shopping. Cost me 16 bucks a week to upkeep it. I can get up to 150 visitors in there. So it's kind of a tourist thing. Something else would be here, like the Lazarette Plaza. Average citizen health under 20%. Basically poison everybody to death, then you can build this thing. Level 2 buildings. They're just harder to do. Public transport has 1,000 weekly passengers. I barely got that many people in the town. So you can get an idea of what these things will do. Mall of moderation. You have to basically leave a lot of garbage around in your city. Stuff like that. But to build, you have to build this to build the medical center. Requirement for building the medical center. So there's a bunch of unique buildings you can do in here at some point. Let's see, all tax rates at most 4%. I can build the posh mall. Okay. Things like that. Oh, it must be raining. Yep, it's raining. Okay. In landscaping, we've got a bunch of different options. Over here, you can play with the terrain. You can level it off. You can shift it. This will soften it, kind of balances things off. Sloping terrain lets you make cliffs, basically. Over here, you've got your paths. Pavement path or a gravel path. Fast and easy where cars can't go. Paved are nicer than gravel. Paved also can be raised. We haven't gotten into that yet. Here we have some random trees we can stick in. More random landscaping of rocks. This is canal and quay. We'll get to there. I want a little bit more cash. And over on this button, we have our parks. You have parks. You have plazas, which is just kind of a hangout place. These are other parks. For example, you can build a tennis court. And if you wanted to put that in, there you go. Now, if we scroll it out a bit, you see that big green circle? That's how big of an area it's going to make happy for land value. If we take a look, for example, at, what is this? The Japanese garden. It's kind of small. The botanical garden is monstrous. So we could put that up here and have that handle that. Small parks, typically smaller parks don't have big range. The bouncy park it's a little bigger, it's a little annoying to put in, but it's got a huge range on it. I believe the carousel park is similar. It is. Now, if you'll notice where I'm aiming that, if I put this in here, it's going to bulldoze those 2 houses. Is it worth it? That's where you start coming up with questions. It's usually useful to put one in. Makes everybody kind of happier. Let's see, I think I've got a 4x. So that would make the center of town happier. I put the botanical gardens in way out here. That would cover almost my entire residential district. That might be worth it. It'll cost me 15 grand to build. But it's something to think about. At some point, I want to build some of these. I'm just not ready to really do this yet. But I could build this here. Well, that actually would work out. So if I put the carousel park in there, you'll notice all those houses just got so much happier. And now if I really want to get nuts with it, if I put the bouncy park across the street, that really improves things around here. Now if we take a look at land value, that will up this land value a decent amount. You'll notice this area over by the river is already higher land value. Once I get down into there, that'll be much more useful. And let's see how we're doing. We're looking for some more residential and some industry or offices. How are we doing on our industry? They haven't even filled in yet. We've got plenty of room for industry. We don't need to build up more. Looks like what we need is residential. Yeah, we pretty much have filled that in. All right, so we're going to build out our artery road here. Oh, this isn't an artery. That's an artery. This is a collector road. A term straight. Run this over near the water. Let's go with there for the moment. Now we're going to play with terrain. I'm going to build a quay. Now we're going to play with freeform. So I'm going to kind of build this as deep into the water as I can. We're going to build this along. And through the magic of editing, you can kind of see what I'm doing, and I will show you what this looks like when I'm done. So what that's done is, if you'll notice where the quay is, there's grassland behind it that I can now play with and use. Now if I really want to get specific with it, if we zoom in, I could raise this terrain up a bit and make it more even. But we'll get back to that idea. Now if we take a look at the land values there, you'll notice I've got some decent land value here, and it runs all the way down this way. So I've got a little more extra space to go play in that. But right now, we have a sewage problem. What the hell's going on? Oh crap, sewage ran out of power. I haven't been paying enough attention. Okay, so let's pause this. Electricity has fallen. I've got 23 megawatts being produced. I'm consuming 30. We are going to activate power usage to reduce some of our power needs. And I'm also going to build another windmill or wind collector. There. So between the two, we should clean up our power needs. But yeah, you can see we've got sewage and power problems going on here. Operating normally. 68. How much? Okay, we're getting back to where we need to be. I'm going to bring the budget up to 100% for water. There we go. Now, water at 100% is 120,000 cubic meters. Remember, at 50%, it was only 30,000. So there is diminishing returns in each direction as you go as to how much you're actually dealing with. It's not linear. I think it's roughly logarithmic, but that's a different story. I haven't quite sat down with it. All right, so we need to get a lot more residential in. We have a high demand for it. Now, I could either expand some of this. Let's see, how's traffic looking? Not too shabby. I'll show you how walking paths work in another area of the city. I'm not going to try and deal with that here for the moment. I'd have to knock a lot of stuff down, and I don't want to go through that. I'd rather deal with it with bus lines for the moment. So, if we're going to build a road... Oh, nope. I want one of these. Those we'll build here. Now, notice I've gapped a bit in between them. That's okay. And we're gonna 2, 4, 6. Now notice here I've got a bit of a zoning problem. I lost a little bit of it, and that's because of this slope. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna level out the terrain a bit. I'm gonna grab a bigger brush. Maybe not that one. Trying to level it out a bit. No, that's not really working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the land over here. Now I'll smooth it. And the problem is, I'm still not getting that. What I've got to do, bulldoze that section of the street. And now I've got it. It does not reset. Somewhat annoying. Now if I come in here, I believe I can slope these. Just don't quite remember how to do it. Okay, so right at that tree. It's also chewing through my cash flow, so be aware. When you start landscaping, it's expensive. Alright, so how are we looking? Yeah, that looks alright. I think we can work with that. Now I am kind of getting up into where I was thinking about putting in lumber industry, but I'm just not that worried about doing that at the moment. I've got plenty of farmland to build that industry into, so I don't really care. Do I need to run water down here? I do. Let's just run it off the main line up here. Oh, I'm broke. I need 1440 to build that. That'll happen in a week. And they can start building in the meanwhile. Now let's see. Level of building. Where is level of building? That's outside connections. Okay, so outside connection shows you jobs that are buildings that may or may not need to be joined externally. So for example, this is importing goods from outside. This is importing agricultural products. These are exporting out of your city. And so we're exporting 63, we're importing 434. So we're importing a lot. That's okay. I did want to see... here we go, building levels. So for example, here's a level 2 household working on level 3. That's 3 of 3 households, whereas this is 2 of 2. So you can see you can just fit more people into more space. Yeah, I don't care about canals. I will get to canals. Alright, I got enough money for my plumbing. Let's get that set up so I don't have to listen to them. Here we go. What is that? Oh, the house foundation. Oh, it's a drugstore going up in the commercial area. Okay. Looks like we have power problems again. So, oh, I guess the wind is dying down. Okay, I don't have enough to put up more electric. My policy for power usage is going. We're gonna have to put up a couple of more of these. I guess it's time for me to take a loan. I've got enough money coming in. Let's see, we got a nice 5% loan here. Yeah, we'll take that loan. And you can pay it back early if you need to, or if you decide to. And for electric, we're going to put up, let's say, 50% more production. All right. So that should bump up my production. Okay, so we're at 30. So right now they're producing 5 megawatts apiece. I really should put up probably another 2 to handle any expansion. So we'll put 2 more in. Took out the loan for this anyway, so might as well put it to use. I'm out of money again. That's okay. It was a small loan. That should get power. Yeah, that's got power up and over, finally. So we're at 36 megawatts of probably going up to 30 needing. So our city's building out. We do want to build out a high school here eventually, but the problem is that costs 24,000, so figure 25 grand. One high school can handle most of a huge residential zone, so it's not as bad as it looks. However, we are nearly max on what our elementary school can handle. They're at 298 of 300. We're gonna just leave that and let some people be uneducated, unfortunately. How are we looking over here? Okay, looks like most of our industry is taken up. We've got an animal farm and other things. It looks like we're going to need to lay in some more road for industry. So 2, 4, 6. Now, is that or is that not my district? You notice it's half and half. What I'm going to do is I'm going to expand that district a little bit. I don't need... Go for a smaller brush. Okay, that should cover that. And we'll put in more industry over here. Now, you'll notice this area, let's see, it's a bakery. It's not on fertile ground, so this is going to be stuff they're going to import stuff for, like the real cereal. So they're going to import stuff to bring this stuff in. So when you're looking at your industry, you notice this, sorry. You're looking at your natural resources, you'll notice I got huge amounts of forest going down through here where my residential area is, and it just doesn't matter. These are turning yellow to show that they're part of the fertile land area. Huh, okay, so just picking up just enough of it. So, there you go. I'm still learning as I go. I know. So that should get us some more industry. Debating on whether I want to turn this into a major, what do you call it? Commercials district or not. Probably not. Got that going on. Let's take a look at the budget. So my expenses over here, I got $400 going out. My weekly policies, and remember, I've only got one policy, and that's on the electric. It cost me $1,400 a week. Just for the electric policy. And then you've got all the other little bits and pieces. I don't see anything else. Electric's costing a fortune. Water's up there too. So speaking of, how's water looking? That water's fine. Electric's tight. I need to build another windmill. Or, wind catcher. Wind turbine, yay, look. I can learn their names. You'll have a field of these at some point. You just kind of keep building onto them as you go. I'm making $1,700 a week. I could turn on smoke detector distribution, but we really don't have any fire problems right now. Pet bans will reduce a little bit of my garbage and decrease a little bit of happiness, so why bother? Smoking will increase health and decrease happiness. And my parks and recreation can up the value of my parks, but I probably want to put more parks in before we get to that. Can't open those up yet. Now, out of curiosity, if I come here, turn on policies, and come to the district. Yeah, okay, I can't tax them individually. So right now, this is your Twitter. It kind of gives you a feel for what the city's doing as you're playing. And what'll happen is, like right now, I just got a tweet saying, "Oh, come on, @mayor, doesn't the city board come up with anything more modern than farming?" Because most of my industries over here are farming industries. Looks like I need to run a water pipe. I think we'll just run one here to cover. And that'll cover both sides and be done with it. Alright, we're looking for more industry, huh? Okay. We're going to arrange that. So you'll notice, nope, that's good actually. But over here where the power lines ran in, it's kind of screwing up where my where I can actually build things at. Now, let's take a look at the electric field for a second. So this particular power line is going to be able to power everything. It'll keep the power grid up over here. So what I can do is I can back this off, build this power line to here, and then reconnect it up. And now with that happening, I have room to build again. So we're going to put in another set of industry here. That should keep them happy. Oh yeah, and pollution levels are pretty light for farming industry, which is awesome. Now, they're looking for more commercial, and I'm running low on cash. Where do I want to put in commercial? I kind of don't want to put a lot of business on my main road out here. So I think what I'll do is I'll build up a small commercial district over here. And we'll put another one in, let's say here. That should take care of that requirement, or that request. Let's see, how are we looking? Information. I've got 1,104 out of 1,368 workers. That's a pretty high unemployment rate, actually. Which is why some of my more educated people are actually working in the industries. That makes sense. Oops, am I missing water out here? I am. Alright, I guess the water problem dealt with. Industries suck down a lot of water, and farming in particular inhales water. Alright, we're up to 31 out of 39 megawatts. Probably could use building another one of those up again. Am I missing water lines down here? I am. Get that dealt with. There we go. Alright, that should got us pretty well set up for our first set on the town we're building here. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying watching. If you are, please leave a comment, leave a like, tell me off, do something. But other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.